All right. We are live. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. Please let us know if there's anything you hear that's a little bit off. I'm Rayfield Garrett. Down below, if you did not know, well, I guess next to me right now. I can't use that one. This is my buddy Chase Militia Keebler. What we're doing here, if it's your first time, we are recapping UFC 117. We're going to talk a little bit about the MVP Netflix card. Not too much because Chase and I really weren't feeling it, to be honest with you. And then we're going to talk about some upcoming events after that. We have the week off, so we got to fill that time somehow, right? Chase, I got the bragging rights this week. Arnold Allen got Melquizael Costa. He didn't knock him out.
No.
Feel like it was a good fight. Yeah, first round, he almost got him, didn't he?
Yeah, I literally, once that happened, I closed my eyes. I was like, oh, I'm not going to hear the end of this.
You're absolutely right, because I was like, if you go back and watch my live stream, because I was doing a listen along for this fight. Oh, I jumped up. I got hype. I was screaming. I thought it was over. I really did. But I'll take the lead on this one, Chase.
Yeah, please do, because I got not much to say. I got to keep my mouth shut on this one.
So Arnold Allen, he came out exactly how I expected, exactly like I saw on tape. Just kind of like that hunting style. You know, he's always in your face. He's always putting something out there. And he was looking really accurate, a lot more accurate last night than I've seen in past fights. And I kind of expected that because this is the shortest time he's had in between fights in a while. You know, he's usually taken a lot of time between fights. I mean, he took I think it was all of 2025 off, if I'm not mistaken, Chase.
Yeah.
So, say again?
No, I was about to say, yeah, he took all of 2025 off because before that, the last time he fought was in July 27th of 2024. So he's only been active in 2026.
So that's what I was expecting, seeing him coming out. I was like, okay, he's gonna have just a little bit more timing. You know, he's getting in there. He's active, which is what I was loving to see. But yeah, first round, he catches Costa with, I don't know if it was I think it was a left hook. I mean, they both were kind of throwing wild punches, and Arnold landed, and Costa went down and ended up fishing for a leg. And I'm surprised that he didn't get finished up because he got hit hard and clean.
Yeah.
So he gets his wits about him. And Arnold Allen starts getting some, offensive wrestling going, getting some decent top pressure. And if you were watching along with me in the live stream last night, I was kind of freaking. Like, I don't like this because, like I was telling you last week, Chase, Mel Costa, he's a slick grappler, and I'm like, he Arnold Allen's playing around and feeling all strong on top. He could easily get caught in something. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen. Second round comes around. A lot of the same. I mean, a lot of this fight played out similar to how these guys' fights really played on tape, which is Mel Costa just hanging on the back foot, back against the cage, looking for counters. And he caught Arnold with plenty of them. I mean, he snapped Arnold's head back a few times. And I want to say it might have been the third round where Mel Costa, you know what? I'm sorry. No, it was the fifth round. Mel Costa started coming forward and really landing shots. He's like, forget this, man. I'm going to lose. I'm down. I'm going to let my hands go. And I would have loved to see that from him earlier in the fight. And I would have loved to see more kicks from him. I feel like he was just kind of sitting and waiting for that counter a little bit too long. I was expecting Costa to be snapping kicks the entire fight. But I don't know if that was just a gas tank issue or why he wasn't throwing more kicks. But he was having success, and he was keeping Arnold off of him and at bay with those kicks. So, I mean, I was saying on the live stream, like, if he kicks more, Arnold's going to have a lot of trouble. He doesn't like it. He doesn't respond well to it. I'm not sure if you're familiar, Chase. Arnold has had all kinds of physical issues, broken hands, wrists. He tore up shoulder. throw kicks at his body and to make him to block those kicks. I mean, I was just shocked that Mel Costa wasn't just spamming kicks the entire fight. But awesome performance by both gentlemen. I think it was a little bit closer than a 50-46 or 50-45s, whatever the scorecards were saying. I don't know what round I would have given Costa, but just scoring the fight as a whole, which I know that's not how fights are scored. I think it was a pretty close fight. I don't think Costa gave a terrible showing of himself. I just think he was a little bit more passive than he should have been, and that's due to getting 2 first-round knockouts in his last 2 fights. And I think just kind of hoping that he was catching lightning in a bottle again and getting it again here, which it just didn't happen. So awesome performance by Mel Costa. I appreciate everyone that's in the chat right now. I'm going to let Chase take over here. We are at the top of UFC 117, slowing it down just a bit for this main event, and then we are going to pick the pace up moving forward here. So, Chase, go ahead and take the wheel, buddy.
Well, the first things first, I want to make sure you get your flowers, bro, because you called this to a T. Exactly how you said the fight would go when we were talking to each other is exactly how the fight kind of went, honestly. I gave Costa a little bit more credit in his kicks, but the big thing that I was really noticing is how well Allen ended up doing while fighting another southpaw. When they're in that southpaw stance, he was actually hitting more left hands than you normally see from a person that's in the same stance. It's like me fighting this orthodox guy, right? The right hand's usually not there as much because you're having to find the center line to throw that strike. And Allen, for some reason, he had a heat-seeking missile to throw that left hand whenever he wanted. So it was just like right on the target, which also stopped Costa from throwing his kicks properly. So if you go back and watch this fight now understanding kind of like why he didn't get the kicks off, there's one thing he was doing because he was hitting the left hand so much and because he was able to stuff that shot through, Costa had to kick on the back foot. So now when he's kicking, when you watch Costa kick, it's always a forward progression kick. So once I started noticing he was on his heel when he was always kicking, number one, he was taking the power off of it. And number two, it looked like he couldn't get his offense going off of those kicks. Because normally he uses his kicks to set up his next movement to track either left or right or center. So it kind of just got like monotonous where Allen could just throw whatever and throw whatever and throw whatever, while Costa was always doing the kicking on the retreat, which number one takes off the pop, and number two, he can't advance like he normally likes to, at least from what I noticed. Allen literally, either he studied his opponent or he was frustrated in the last fight that he just kind of took it to him. There was no letting off the gas, I feel like, Ray. And I feel like he just kind of very, very slowly progressed and was very, very aggressive with Costa, not letting him set up his offense, which just made Costa very uncomfortable. That's the biggest thing. If you even look at anything else, I just feel like he was super uncomfortable in this fight. And that's normally what you don't get out of Costa. You get the really relaxed, super flowy kicks, and then he starts getting aggressive and hitting stuff really heavy. So that's what I got out of it, Ray, mainly. And I do want to give you your flowers because you definitely called this to a T.
I appreciate that, man.
You got to put some respect on your name. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's the show, round 3 prediction show is main event, co-main event. That's what I focus in. That's what I lock in on. So I take a lot of pride in those 2 fights. Yeah. So let's move on down here, Chase, to the co-main event, which I think we both called wrong here. I may have gave you some bad juju here by messaging you talking about my losing streak. So why don't you go ahead and take it away on this one here. What did you see?
Honestly, this is a fun one. I've never been a Don Ho Choi fan. I think he's good. I think a lot of people love him. And me being the rebellious, like, punk guy I am, I always go against the grain. So everybody loves this guy. I'm naturally going to be like, so. So I started looking into Santos. I really like the way he boxes. I think his boxing is really crisp. And then, not to mention that, when he's in the pocket, it's really nice to see him throw these big hooks and kind of like, not like making him loopy a lot of times, which I always kind of like just with his boxing in particular. Now, Choi took it to the man in the second. In the first, I thought he was going to get finished in the first, if I'm being honest. It looked like it. He was getting really popped up. His face was looking swollen. He was just kind of not enjoying it. All of a sudden, you start seeing him just biting the bullet. He said, screw it. If I'm going to get knocked out, I'm going to get knocked out. And you started seeing him really attacking the body. And I think personally, Santos was not expecting that, and he might have blew his wad in the first, especially the last, I think it was the last 30 seconds. He was starting to get him out of there. And then the bell rang, obviously. And then you see Choi come back and start really attacking the body. and I know you started messaging me. So what were your thoughts going into that second half of the fight?
I'm glad you asked me that, because I actually just got back from the store, so I missed a majority of that first round.
Okay.
And when you said, I hope you didn't have Choi, because I was like, no, I didn't, but he's probably going to win since I have. And so I was walking in, right as he was getting busted up, there might have been like a minute or so left.
Okay.
In the first round. So yeah, that second round rolls around, and you could just see Santos kind of that energy bar dipping down, as that round went, and Choi started to land more shots, and it started to look like that Nate Landwehr fight. I was saying in my breakdown, I'm like, this isn't going to be no old 38-year-old Nate Landwehr like in your last fight, and that was a year and a half ago. Because I don't know if you remember, I think I could be completely wrong. When we talked about this last week, Chase, I want to say this wasn't the co-main event. The co-main event originally was Malcolm Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. Then when they lost fights, added fights, and then got shuffled around, this ended up being the co-main event, deservedly so.
Okay.
But I was saying Choi. I was saying Choi by knockout. I was thinking Choi by knockout, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not sticking with my initial gut choice. I just thought the activity, I kind of got in my head too much and just looked a little bit more. Just that's fighting, right? Just looking at a bunch of factors and that really don't matter, right? Sometimes it's just getting in there and seeing how things play out. So yeah, to answer your question though, the second half of the fight was just kind of like a video game where one character had better endurance than the other, like it was just that bruising force in the first round from Daniel Santos, which he always is. And he usually is able to hold up late a little better. His cardio usually looks a bit better than that. So yeah, he looked like he was extremely tired just a minute or two into that third round. Because when did this fight? What does this say, Chase? I can hardly even see it. Oh, was it the second round or just at the end of the second round? I don't know why I thought this fight went into the third. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I guess midway through the second then. Yeah, Santos was looking extremely tired. Yeah, and Choi just the more he started to land, the less that Santos had for him. So hats off to Choi. I mean, that's really all I got on this one. Choi, do you got anything else? Chase?
Not too much. That's basically the only thing I got. I think it was a better fight than what I was expecting to, especially after the first round. I was like, oh, Santos is about to just, go out there and finish him in the second. So it was nice to see the good finish like that. It was still, still very entertaining towards the end. I would say that was one of the better fights of the night, in my opinion.
Agreed. Malcolm Wellmaker, Juan Diaz. What'd you see here, Chase?
This one kind of broke my heart, if I'm being honest. I really wanted Wellmaker to win. Just because, I think Wellmaker's a really good fighter. I think he's a very entertaining fighter. Him on the mic afterwards, him in his Instagram. I just like his personality, who he is, and he's very sincere, and it doesn't come off the person he's trying to be. So, like, even when he talks and stuff like that, he doesn't have to talk crap, everything else. But the problem I see with the UFC, and I'm just going to talk about them a little bit before I get into the fight, I feel like they're doing Wellmaker like how they used to do their old stars. Like, we've seen this with Darren Till, we've seen this with Sage Northcutt, we've seen this with Paige Van Zandt. They're kind of throwing him to the wolves. Like, when I first seen that he had Diaz, I didn't like the matchup. I didn't like the idea that he was going to go against this killer that's like fighting the real deal. It's not like he's like getting somebody that's like 16-0 with a padded record, or 16-1 obviously with Diaz. He's getting a guy that's been fighting other killers, obviously. So I was kind of worried about the matchup, and then obviously it showed in the fight. We've seen Diaz kind of wearing on him with the wrestling and the grappling, not letting Wellmaker get his strikes off and kind of like set the pace that Wellmaker likes to do. And then when guys start drawing into him because they're getting like frustrated, I feel like that's when you see Wellmaker get taken over big time and start getting those knockout shots. He'll like draw guys in. We've seen it a little bit with Union because he caught him with a few times, and we've seen it a little bit with Diaz, but Diaz just took full control. I mean, to where the point where like he almost got a point taken away or in trouble with that knee to the head, which we'll get to that. But I think Diaz did great. I thought he just took control, took Wellmaker to where he was more uncomfortable and started wearing on him. And I think that if Wellmaker wants to make a comeback, I think that the UFC needs to settle down if they want to keep their star here. I think he still could be a star, but they need to pull the reins back, give him some easier fights, let him build himself up first, and then we'll see what happens. But hats off to Diaz. He just made a name off himself off of that one. Hopefully they keep giving favorable matchups and stuff, and we'll see a new star in the UFC. Ray, what you got, bro?
Wellmaker just didn't address his grappling issues. I can't remember if Ewing had any grappling success against him in their last fight, but I feel like he may have.
I feel like he did.
And it's just not addressing issues in between fights. Not a fan of it. But I am a fan of Wellmaker, and I agree with you, Chase. I like the way he carries himself. You can just tell he was raised right, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's upsetting. This was not just for round 3 picks. I mean, he was my third and final most confident pick that missed, unfortunately. But yeah, not even for that. It's just, seeing him after the fight, he was just like, man, just kind of sitting there on his knees, just kind of shaking his head, just so upset with himself. It sucks. Undefeated fighter on a nice run, and now you got everyone coming out. And I saw some post last night, and he knocked out a couple bums, and you guys put him up on a pedestal. He was never really that good, this and that. We need to start having that conversation. He was never. Yes, he is. Yep. Stop it. Matchups make fights, and it wasn't like Juan Diaz was out there desperation grappling. No, it was a game plan, and this guy's a solid grappler. I mean, he would have done that to a lot of people at this point in the rankings, or this part in the rankings, I should say. But that's really all I have on this one, Chase. Upsetting, to say the least. I mean, you worded that perfectly. Very upsetting. Yeah. Move on here. Modestas Bukauskas versus Christian Edwards. I'll lead off on this one, Chase, just because I did take a flyer on Christian Edwards. I thought, you know what? Coming in short notice, this guy's like 6'5". Bukauskas is kind of known to fight at more of a slow pace sometimes. Why not, right? And it was looking okay. I mean, it was a split decision. I don't know how you felt about this fight overall, Chase, but it was a bit boring, a bit slow at times. But for a guy coming in on short notice, I don't think Christian Edwards gave a bad showing of himself at all. I mean, he looked like he was gassed out midway through that first round, and he got a second wind. And he was throwing okay technical shots, and I love how he was ducking under Bukauskas' flurries and getting to that body lock and driving him to the cage. I mean, he was doing what he had to do to stay safe and try to win minutes. I mean, he was trying to win the fight. He had over 4 minutes of control time. I thought he was going to get the split decision. I really did.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really all I got on this one, man. What do you got, Chase?
I'm a big fan of Bukauskas. Not his last fight in particular, obviously, because he lost that one by KO. KO/TKO, right? But he was on a winning streak, where he was just beating a lot of guys, and that was after where he lost to Khalil Roundtree, and he got that knee stomp, took some time off. After he came off that knee stomp and he came back, he was on a hot winning streak, right? Obviously lost a fight in 2026, January, Krylov, right? And then after that, now coming back to win against Edwards again, I think that he's a lot better fighter. I don't think he had the best fight in this one, if I'm being honest. Maybe it's because there was so much clenching, he couldn't get Edwards off him as much, and you could tell Edwards really wanted to grapple with him, which was great. But I don't know. I'm a fan of Bukauskas. It's just a bad fight, I'm going to be honest with him. It didn't look his greatest, I've seen him fight other times, even his fight, with Krylov before this. He looked better in that. So maybe he's a little gun shy because he didn't want to lose again. I don't know, but he definitely didn't look like he was fighting to win. He looked like he was fighting not to lose, unfortunately. And I think if we're going to see that from him, we're going to see him lose a lot more, unfortunately, if he goes to those top ranks. But as for Edwards, maybe he can do something with it. Maybe he can't. I don't know if the UFC signed him to a one-fight contract, but I don't know. Give him a longer camp. Let's see how he does. Hopefully they don't give him another killer. Maybe they'll give him another shot. I don't know. We'll see how the UFC's feeling about this guy.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think you nailed everything. Yeah, Bukauskas, he's not going to do much with performances like that. And Christian Edwards, I think I think he earned himself another fight in the UFC. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Timmy Kawamba, Bernardo Sopai. I'll lead off on this one again, Chase, just because this was round 3's underdog lock of the week. Missed. Guys, team, 5 straight underdog lock misses. We got to get it right, and we will get it right. I'll say it one more time. We got to get it right, and we will get it right. Timmy Kawamba came out okay in the first round. Sopaj they were going tit for tat. And then I want to say Sopaj, did he grapple him up? I can't remember if he dropped him with a shot in the first round or not, but
he dropped him.
He grappled him up in the first round, almost finished it in the first round. And Kawamba was able to survive, gets out of the round, comes out in the second round, Kawamba does, and he's looking good. I was actually following along on this one. If you were watching last night with me on the live stream, the watch along, saying, yeah, Kawamba's finding his range now. He was landing some decent shots, and then of course they exchange in the pocket. He gets caught, dropped. Sopai hammer fist in, and I was like, oh man, this is it. And he locks in a choke, and that's all she wrote. You know, Kawamba was tapping and backing him to get the ref off of him. So, what did you see with this one, Chase?
Honestly, Sopaj and Kawamba, I didn't know much about them going into this fight. It was nice to see Kawamba composed out of a fighter that was hurt a few times. Now, when that big shot landed there on the ground and you've seen those like Donkey Kong style hammer fists coming through, it's a little bit different, right? Everybody's going to freak out and kind of move a lot. But it was nice to see Sopaj like immediately go to like the back take and start fighting for that submission there. It was actually kind of like high level, and you don't catch that a lot from guys that are trying to get the finish that hard. The only thing I was kind of worried about was like, oh, he's gonna blow his arms out, and you know he might be gassed trying to the finish. I'm very surprised that he ended up switching off to the submission. So good for him. I think it's somebody I'm going to be looking at now. Obviously, not knowing a lot about this guy, he made it really fun out of a fight that got really ugly at some points. So, I mean, that was my opinion on it. You know, when you go into a fight like this, too, and it kind of finishes like that, you got some flurries. You see some really greatness from the both of you. It's one of those fights where somebody's going to really excel and the other one's going to drop. And it could be either way, the winner or the loser. So it kind of depends on where their next fights go. And we see them either they could take off from this or we could see them both crash and burn. And that's the unfortunate part of a fight like this. And we got guys like that who just fought before them, I think, with it being like Chaos Williams and, you know, the Chaos Williams and whatever homeboys. My dog. There we go. See, that's why I love you, man. Can't pronounce nothing. I got you.
Yeah, Chase, you can. I'll talk about this one for about 10 seconds, then I'll let you run with it. This fight was added this week, and I completely disrespected and doubted my Detroit boy. You know, we were here in the D, so I don't know why I picked against Cash. He just looked so rough in his last fight, but apparently he's been going around the country putting in all kinds of work. I want to say they said he was training with Justin Gaethje. Go ahead, Chase, on this one. What did you have? Because I didn't have much on this fight. It was last minute added to the card. So talk to me, man.
Okay, cool. So I didn't originally know that he was fighting on this one until like 2 weeks ago. And then I seen he was fighting. I was like, oh, sweet. It was good to see him fight this fight too, because he was on a 2-fight losing streak before this as well. So I kind of think they were trying to give him a guy that was just winning. So either number one, look better for Chaos, or number two, they're going to use that to boost the other guy's name. Now, personally, I've trained with Chaos. I know him somewhat. We've trained like 3 or 4 times together. Either with him going to Michigan top team or him going to Detroit Jiu-Jitsu, where he does want to get those jiu-jitsu rounds. So I've trained with him a little bit more at DJJ, my secondary school. When I'm back in Michigan, that's my number 1 school. But he's a good guy, really nice. He gets the work done when he's in there. Obviously got crazy power that you cannot believe. Even when you're like rolling with him and grappling with him, you can feel I
believe that.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just like just weirdly power. Like even if it's not the greatest technique, sometimes it's just different. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm always gonna be rooting for the Detroit guy. It was definitely nice to see him get this win too, especially with however you say his name. I'm sorry guys, I'm terrible at this, and I will get better. But how he beat Pico his last fight, or Price, Nico Price. I'm sorry. he beat Nico Price's last fight, and then to come out like this and get stopped like that, it's a very good look for Williams. And hopefully, you know, we've seen him talking to Mike afterwards. I'm assuming his management with them guys told him to say some nice stuff about Dana and everybody else in the mayor of Detroit, so that way they can kind of sign him again, because I think that it might have been his last fight in his contract. I'm not 100% sure, but by the way he fights and everything else, always blitzing forward, I think the UFC re-signs him again. And we'll see what happens. You know, if he gets those really technical guys, we've seen him, you know, lose before, unfortunately. But maybe this is a resurgence. We see a different version of chaos now. But only time will tell. And we'll have to clean up some things if we want to see him get ranked in the, you know, top 15, at least in my opinion.
Agreed. Tuco Tokos. Ivan Erslan. What did you see here, Chase?
All right, so we're going to talk about this one. So this is where Chase gets funny and gets very opinionated and becomes like kind of a dork on this one. I didn't like this fight. I'm being straight up with y'all. This fight sucked to me. I absolutely hated this fight. A lot of people thought it was awesome. A lot of people was freaking out. A lot of people thought this was like the best fight ever. What I saw personally, and this is from guys that are already in the UFC, I haven't got there yet. I will make it there, I promise. But that being said, these guys look like they were slugging the whole time. They looked like they were very tired. It didn't look very, like, technical, which I do expect out of, like, you know, the smaller guys. They're light heavyweights. You don't expect them to be like that. But at the end of the day, It shouldn't look like they're two guys fighting in a bar over a beer. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they went against anybody that had, like, sensible knowledge or were throwing some stuff or even had, like, some good takedowns and stuff like that, we would have got a finish. And that's kind of what it showed. The first half, they were feeling each other out. It kind of looked good. And you kind of seen some glimmers of hope between both of them. As the fight was going on, though, it just didn't look like much of anything. I'm being honest. I was so bored at one point. I'm like, dude, I don't even want to watch this fight. I'm about to pull out my phone. But that being said, we've seen Erslan, you know, get the win. I'm happy for the guy because obviously we heard his speech afterwards, or some of us did, talking about hey, he's got a kid on the way and everything else, and you know, hopefully they re-sign him. But with his size and the way he looks, what the UFC is going to do, unfortunately, is they're going to use him as a name and a body to build up somebody else. So that's my opinion on it, Ray. I know you probably get a more technical standpoint after hearing me rant and rave about this one. Let's see what you got on the better side.
No, I didn't like it either.
Okay, good. Thank God. I was about to sound like a shill.
No, man. It even there was people saying that Erslan might get cut even after winning this fight. So, yeah, it's interesting. Tokos, you're supposed to be the grappler kind of submission guy in this matchup, and he got out-grappled, right? I mean, he got controlled for, my goodness, almost 9 minutes. And a lot of that was lamprey, right? Erslan was not looking to get involved in a real fight after a little while. That's what I saw. I mean, Erslan was landing the more technical shots. Yeah. But, I mean, not by much. I mean, more technical shots, I'm talking about a jab here and there. You know, so it's I'm with you, Chase. This fight looked like a mess. This fight looked like it took place in a bathroom in a bar somewhere, something like that. So yeah, high school level fighting. Honestly, hate to say it, but this looked like some of the clips of that stuff that I sent you the other day, and you were like, "What are you sending me? What is this garbage?" You know, like that's what it was looking like. So, all right, let's move on from this one, man. What do we got next? Oh, we got your boy. Sweet. Let me get it up on the screen for everybody. Tommy Gant versus Artur Minev. I will just preface this, and I'm gonna let you run. Cool. Chase, Militia Keebler down below me trained with Tommy Gant in Carolina for a bit. Is that correct, Chase? Touch on that just briefly, and then go ahead and get into the fight.
Sweet. All right, so me and Tommy, we trained a couple times. I think it was like 2 or 3 times when I used to train at Elevate when I first moved to North Carolina. Really nice guy, kind of quiet, but when he trains, like you'll know who this man is through his work. And that being said, that's why, you know, DC picked him up and as a part of his team. Like, obviously, he was talking about it a bit during the fight, that he drives around his golf cart and they always drive to practice together. And then he lives at DC's house when he has fight camps and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see that he's got a team that cares about him and is also trying to help him, you know, prevail and get farther in the fight. I will give it to his opponent taking this fight, I think, on a week's notice, maybe 2 weeks.
Last stand, yep.
It was nice, you know, to see somebody step up and try to fight, because you could tell it just seemed like he was a little bit out of shape. Maybe the cut was like instant, where you don't have that cardio as much. Gant though, man, you know, 6 out of 17 takedowns, just consistent over and over and over and over again. Just awesome pressure, awesome takedown work. You've seen him kind of standing up a little bit and then immediately going to what he's comfortable with. It was kind of fun to watch him fight in the UFC too. It was almost reminding me of a younger Usman, where Usman was very heavy on the grappling presence and then would just start finding his strikes. And you would see him getting the finishes there. So I think there's still some improvement, some growing he's going to do as his career gets further and further along with the UFC. But as of what we see right now, as a friend of his and somebody's trained with him before, and just somebody, you know, that I've seen him from afar, even when we were training and stuff like that, I do like the progression that he's going right now, and we're going to see a lot of things coming from this man, you know. So as a friend and somebody's training with him, I'm very happy with the performance that he had, and hopefully we get more out of it, you know. So, Ray, from the outside perspective, what do you got, brother?
I did not watch this fight, unfortunately. No? I was listening, and the listen along, but unfortunately, I was on my way home. I was so irritated, because I was like, man, of course I'm going to miss it. And I think I may have made it, because let me pull this back up here. When did he get the finish?
Second round, like half.
Second round, If he would have went to the third round, I would have at least caught the third round. So I was like, man, I hope I can get back to, watch Chase's boy. But from what I was listening to, just smothering. And AJ on the watch along MMA experts, he was kind of hating a little bit and saying, oh, he has no striking at all, and this and that, and he's getting tested on the feet here. I know his tone when he's kind of hating on somebody, you know what I mean? And I could tell he just had this hating tone. But apparently when he got it down to the ground, though, he was brutal. He wasted no time once he got it down there. So really quick, Chase, just a few seconds. Just tell me, watching this, were you surprised or no? Like, was you like, yep, I've trained with this guy, I see this pace, like he's not going to get tired? Or were you like, man, he's struggling to get these takedowns, I don't know here? Like, how did you feel watching that first round?
Honestly, I thought he was going to get the takedowns and hold him down a little bit better. The other guy, I don't know much about him, obviously, but watching him fight, I was very surprised at how he was able to control the pace on the ground a little bit. And then, like, he was getting popped here or there, but he was always able to get back up or work his way back to his feet, which was very surprising. I worked with Gant. Like, I've had to use every single trick in the book in my black belt, like arsenal, to turn him or like, that boy's been on my back. I've had to stand all the way up and try to throw him off or something else. Like, dude's very, very great at wrestling. Like, it's super slick. Like, every time we would grapple and everything else or do even striking, he was on my legs. I'm having to fight and do some crazy black belt reversal type crazy crap that I've had in my tool shed. So it was kind of different to see him do that. And then around the second round, I think that guy just, the pace, he couldn't keep up with it to where he could be hitting these hip switches. So, I mean, it was good. It was good for the other guy. I don't think it's a bad look. I think the UFC still got a really good fighter in him as well. And maybe when he has more time, too, he'll have a better showing out. And then same thing with Gant, too. Like, we're going to see a better version of him as well. I think some stuff, him being the first time under the lights, as long as DC's taking control of it, he's going to let him get built up slow. And then we're going to see good things from him, at least in my opinion.
All right. Well, so you weren't surprised at the pace from him, though? That's really my main question. Like, did you think Gant was going to get tired, or were you expecting that?
I mean, I thought, not really. I'm gonna be honest. I've moved with them. I've went with them, and we've done multiple rounds back to back. I don't think the pace was the thing that was going to get him tired. I think it goes back to the last statement I made with the guy reversing so much and able to stand up so much. That's where you can get tired. Like, when we've gone with each other and I've been able to stand up, reverse, or do some stuff, like, he was able to pressure and come back. But then that's like with breaks in between the rounds and we're doing stuff or like doing
right.
When you're doing that in a fight and the adrenaline's pumping a bit more, that's why I thought he was starting to get a little bit more tired compared to what I've seen or worked with him with. But that was just kind of my seeing just from me training with him and everything else. But it was still a good showing. I think he's got a way better gas tank than even that. So we'll see like exactly how it's going to show in the next fight. I think he's going to be even better cardio and a better pace even.
Okay. Let's move on here. If anyone doesn't know, Chase, this is all that he watches. He studies women MMA. This is it. This is like the peak for Chase. I honestly think this was Chase's most anticipated fight of the night. Chase.
You're terrible.
Take it away.
All right, cool. This fight, I didn't know jack about either girl. I just know that one was tall and the other was not so tall. And then they were doing things and they were doing womenly MMA. So when we watch women's MMA, if they throw a jab and they hit it, that's clean, bro. So we've seen a lot of hands up, a lot of people drawing people in. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all know me. I say this every time. If you guys have been watching since day one, women's MMA is the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life because there is no skill. It is what it is, baby. It is what it is. Now at the top level, there are some fighters that are really fun to watch, and there's other fighters that you just don't want to watch. And this is one of the fighters I didn't want to watch, but I do it for my boy Ray, and I do it for you guys. So my suffering is for you. Okay. That being said, I did watch this fight. It was a lot of control from Vieira, and you didn't see a lot from Cavalante. Is that how you say it? Or
Yeah.
All right, cool. So biggest thing is like you've seen Vieira, like even in her corner, she was talking about not knowing if she won the first round, and then her team saying, "Well, we could have pulled that off. We could have won this." If I'm being honest, and I was her coach, and we're just going to that mood, I'm not even going to tell her we won the round because you've seen her kind of pull off the gas in the second. She did end up, taking control and everything else. It was always on the back foot, but the difference between her and like a person that can fight off their back foot, like Sean Strickland, there wasn't a lot of volume on her back foot. So like she just looked like she was getting bullied around and pushed around. Now when they did exchange, they were throwing some stuff. She was getting more confidence because I don't think she was really feeling any power from Cavalante. But when you go into those exchanges and everything else, it doesn't look good for a judge either. So she did get her down though. She had some pretty good control when she was on top. The other girl didn't do much of anything. I thought they were going to stand it up a few times. But, Vieira did her thing. I have seen her fight. I think she was on the – let me look real quick before I comment on this because I might be wrong. But I'm pretty sure she fought on the Sphere card. Okay. Didn't fight on the Sphere card, but she fought – okay. She fought on the Aspinall card. Okay. That makes more sense. So when she fought on the Aspinall card, and I watched her fight on that one, and she was fighting she fought just before she fought Kayla Harrison. She was getting a lot of control time. She was getting a lot of top pressure, and she was being like the more boxier, pushing the person down, and that's kind of her style. So in a fight like this, she just looked a little uncomfortable. But when she got it to the ground, that's when she kind of used her aggressiveness and kind of have that more steady foot to where she could start hitting more. So good on her for winning. But at the end of the day, if she really wants to fight and get some better stuff, we're going to have to see her be more aggressive instead of fighting on the back foot as much. Ray, what do you got on this one, bro? Anything?
No, I was listening along on this one.
All right, sweet.
I think I was actually still at work, so I was like halfway listening, trying to help people and listen at the same time.
Cool.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't got much. I like Ketlin Vieira. It was a split decision or no unanimous? No, unanimous.
No,
yeah,
unanimous.
I heard.
Yeah.
I was here. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was unanimous. I thought she just lost the first round. She did win the second too.
Okay. Yeah, I was hearing a lot of people say after the fact Kelvin Conti could have won the first and third.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll move on from this one.
Okay, cool.
Here's your boy.
Yeah,
Go
Cody
ahead,
Brundage.
man.
All right, so I'm going to be taking over a lot of these two guys just in case you're wondering why I'm jumping on a lot of these prelims. I usually watch the prelims while Ray's at work. So just a heads up for you guys that are wondering why I'm jumping on these for a lot of them. So Cody Brundage versus Petrowski. Dude, Petrowski had this in the bag. What are you doing, bro? Complete control of the whole first round. Like, I had this Petrowski. I thought he was actually going to finish him in the first. He had him on the ground at one point and just, like, really hitting good shots. I don't know, man. And then all of a sudden, Cody Brundage being Cody Brundage. I've seen him do it to one of my teammates before when I cornered a guy. just immediately loaded up, faked the 2. As soon as she faked the 2 to the body, rolled right into that hook from over the top. It really reminded me of a like Johnny Hendricks back in the day, where you like fake the 2 and then just kind of load up and throw like a diesel 3. So it was a really nice setup with the secondary. But I don't know, man. If we see this from Cody Brundage more, I guess you can still, expect him to be in the UFC. I thought they were going to cut him after this fight, but I'm assuming they're probably going to cut Petrowski after this. Unfortunately, because I am a fan of his and his fighting style, but you can't go what he had. But I think he had 3 fight loss now after this one. Let me look just to make sure, because I usually have this one. Yeah, he lost to 3 people back to back now, so I don't see him sticking around, unfortunately. But he'll still do some stuff here or there in the MMA world, so we'll still have to keep an eye out for him. But yeah, it was all Cody's fight, honestly. Cody took it to him, especially in the second. Now the first, Petrowski looked like the guy that was just about to get his contract and get re-signed. Good on the feet, good punches. It looked like he was really clean up with his 2, and then setting up a lot of jabs. Keeps a good cage control, and he's got slick boxing. That's partially why I really like Petrowski, because of his boxing. But second round comes through, a bit hard on that feint. Dropped his lead hand. As soon as he dropped their lead hand, Cody came right over that hook and just put him right on his butt. So good on Cody. I mean, good for that team. And then I seen my buddy Colin was in his corner, so good for them to get him. And hopefully that,
of course.
Of course. Hopefully Cody Brundage had a good birthday, because it was his birthday that day. So
wow.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Look at that.
Yep.
I'm actually going to mention my birthday later on when we get there, and you will see why, Chase. But I don't got much on this one from the listen along. Yeah, it looked like Cody Brundage was on his way to doing Cody Brundage things and losing this fight in Cody Brundage fashion. But then he turned it around. I was cool with it. Like I said, I was 6-7 on the night overall in my picks. It's not good. Second week in a row. Need this week off to recalibrate a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But, excuse me. Yeah, Cody Brundage gets it done. And I even said, I thought it was going to be the first round. I said, Cody Brundage comes out hot and heavy in that first round, and he can knock anybody out in that first round. So I'm surprised it happened in the second, but I did call Cody Brundage KO all week long. So I was absolutely fine with this. Do you got anything on this one, Chase? Elise Ardoin versus Polyana Viana? So
this one, I actually know Audrine, because Audrine or Audrine, I don't know exactly how you pronounce it. Vienna, I know her, and this is going to be hilarious to you guys who are listening, and Ray's probably going to kick out of this too. The reason why I know both of them is not because of MMA, which is actually terrible. Okay, so Vienna, every time I go on Instagram or something or whatever, I'm always getting like clips of her getting tattoos. I'm a big anime nerd. I'm a big nerd, if you guys don't know that already. And I'm going to show y'all like my trophy case over here. That's all filled with, all right, I'll go back over so you guys can see it again. That's all filled with either my championship belts or manga. I'm a big anime guy. So it's funny, but it's all like anime figures up top, Gundam, some other things. So little look in my life. So Vienna, she's got the eyes from a character in Naruto, Pain, on her chest, which is really weird, but also a cool tattoo. Then her legs, she's got some really cool anime tattoos going up in the leg and everything else. So I do pay attention to her just because of the tattoos. It kind of got me interested in her, which is funny. And then Audrine or Audrine, she has the crazy. If you guys want to get a kick out of anything, go on Instagram, follow her on Instagram. She has one of the funniest Instagrams I've ever seen since Derek Lewis. Bro, she is a riot, bro. And usually, like, I'm not the biggest fan of women's MMA. So for me to say this, like, and I actually knew both of these girls, that's crazy. That's like Jesus turned water into wine. All right, guys? So this is like a big moment right here. That being said, I really paid attention to this fight. And this is kind of the one that I started watching because I caught the tail end of the next fight after this, which we'll get into, guys. But this fight, I was really actually glued to, honestly. In the beginning, you see Audrine, and she was throwing big shots. She was getting tagged with a lot of jabs. She got her cut originally. I think it was either she got a cut underneath her eyes or her nose started to bleed. It was one of the two, right? But then she threw a big hook over the top. Actually, threw that big hook over the top against Gina. Gina was complaining about an eye poke, but it was the punch. It was all knuckles and to the side of the eye. She was complaining to the judge and the ref and her. Audrine said, screw it. I'm just going to punch you. The ref ain't going to stop it. She kept trying to hit. Good shots. It's hitting the bigger shots, too. Even Vienna was throwing a lot of jabs, throwing a lot of crosses. She was hitting her on the outside, but it wasn't a lot of, like, force behind it, so it wasn't keeping her off. That being said, now we get a takedown in the second. As the takedown goes on in the second, we see her in guard, and Diana goes for this body triangle from bottom. Now, let's go into jiu-jitsu real quick. Anytime we're talking about jiu-jitsu and you go for a body triangle on bottom, it's usually to set up some sort of attack. Usually if you're doing MMA, it's set up big elbows, elbows across, or elbows over the top. We did not see her really doing that. She was like kind of pitter-patting, throwing like these mollywops and everything else. It's not doing much. You didn't see her controlling the arm and trying to set up a sweep from there either or whatnot. So, Argeline, you've seen her go to this setup. I don't even know what it's called, but the only time I've ever seen it work is in kids jiu-jitsu. So when somebody's got a body triangle on you and you're in the guard, you can put that foot between your legs, and you see her do this. So if you guys don't understand what I'm saying, go ahead, go watch that fight, or at least go watch the finish. As she puts the foot between the leg, for men, it's usually we're not as flexible in the joints, and we don't have the flexibility as much as women. So you usually get the tap real quick because it's going to just put a lot of pressure on the knee line. I think it might do it to the calf too, but I've never practiced this myself. But I've always seen it in kids jiu-jitsu because kids are sometimes not as smart and they don't think about it. And you don't want to go to that body triangle because it's not the smartest move, okay? So she gets that foot on the inside. As she's going the foot on the inside, it doesn't work. And just like her, I did the same thing. I learned this through Instagram. So as she sees it and she goes to the inside, it's not working. She passes the foot to the other knee to get more pressure on it, and she goes hips in. As soon as she goes hips in, knee immediately starts feeling that pressure. I think she blew out the MCL in her knee and hurt her calf as well. Immediately starts tapping. One of the craziest taps I've ever seen, and it was called the pill capsule, I guess. I've never seen that finish like that. I've always seen it just between the leg, but it was really cool to catch. And if anybody puts me in a body triangle, I'm definitely going to be looking for that. So that was a really cool finish, actually. And I'm very impressed by these girls, and it was an awesome fight, honestly. Just some cool technique.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great insight there by the black belt, Chase Militia Keebler. That's not just a blowhard down there. This guy knows his stuff, okay? Let's zip through the rest of this here, Chase. Daniel Perez, Louis Garulu. I will just say before I let you run with it, Louis Garulu was one of my most confident picks this week. So I felt good just hearing this on the listen along. AJ trying to act like Daniel Perez had something for him and he was landed and this and that. But I know Garulu I know he had the power. I know how clean his hands are. And I mean, it's just from what it was sounding like, he was just coming through with bombs. So tell me, Chase, it seemed like this fight was somewhat competitive in the first round, and then Garulu just kept taking over the longer the fight went. So what did you see?
To be honest, I only caught because I was out and about, and I was trying to watch it while at Burlington, or not Burlington. I was at Barnes & Noble. We were there. Wife had to go check out some books and stuff. So I caught the end of this fight. It was like the third round. I think we were a minute and a half already into it, which is fine. I caught it. The biggest thing that I caught, and from what I heard on the commentary too, because I did turn on the commentary for this, I was like, I might as well hear what they're saying because I missed most of the fight. As you guys know, I don't really like listening to commentary because I don't think it's the best, especially when it's oversaturated with certain people. And I don't want to get into it because we complain about that person a lot. But from what I've seen and from what I was hearing, the whole fight, it was the difference between pitter-patter shots and somebody throwing a sledgehammer at them. And you've seen it too. Garulu was like throwing bombs, bro. But every time you watch Barez or whatever his name is, Barez, he was just pitter-patting. It was like he was like tapping the dude every time he was trying to hit him. Like, yeah, he hit him a lot. And you even see him like a lot of the significant strikes and stuff. I don't even think that was right. I'm going to be honest. When I was watching total strikes in that third round, maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was way worse in the first and second. But in the third round, he was hitting them a lot. He hit them like for every – because you could see it's like 117 to like 178. I don't think that was right, though, unless it was all in the third round. But you've seen Perez throw like 4-punch combos, hit most of them, but they weren't doing anything. It was like touches like this, like not doing anything. But when Gorilla threw, boy, that boy looked like a gorilla. That boy was throwing bombs. Like every time he touched him, he shook him. I thought he was going to drop him with some of the shots he was in. And you even seen it. He wore the damage. Like, it was bad. So, personally, like, it just from that little, like, 4 minute or, about 4 minutes I seen in the third round, I kind of could already tell that, like, all right, Rillo, if this went like this the whole fight, then obviously he won. It was a good fight. It was a cool little, actually, good finish that I got to see. But I don't got too much on it. Unfortunately, I didn't catch the beginning of it. But from what I've seen, it just looked like a lot of control and a lot of pitter-patter, and he couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah. That's what I heard. Daniel Bress had some okay moments. He looked, his hands looked clean at times, but Gurulu just had that power.
Yeah.
And we missed this one, Chase, yeah?
Yeah, we both did. Did you catch the highlight of it for the finish?
I didn't.
Okay. So from what I see in the highlight, because I did, I just looked at the UFC's Instagram while I was watching the. Let me look so I can tell y'all. I was watching the Argentinian fight. When I was watching that, I looked up the UFC to see if anything happened, and it looks like Bannon got finished with a head and arm triangle, which is kind of unfortunate because I think the UFC was really trying to push her, because she's an Irish girl who knows how to talk, and she's kind of got like that, like Conor McGregor kind of like swag and twang to her. So I know it's kind of unfortunate for them. It's just I don't know how much she's really gonna get done in the UFC with her style. It's too much of the karate style, like long kicks to the head with no damage. It's like she just wants to do like the point karate stuff. She's got some jiu-jitsu, but you got to put some pop behind some of those shots if you're gonna do karate style. So that's all I got on that one. I just seen the highlight. If you guys want to know more, maybe go watch the fight. But you probably got enough of it from seeing the highlight.
All right, Chase. We're gonna switch over here.
Okay.
Round 3 team. First time here, drop a like, comment, subscribe, do all this cool stuff. Chase and I are here every single Sunday. If Chase can't join me, I'm going to at least be here. But Chase has been, I think, you've only missed 1 week, right?
Yeah, I think so, just one. Yeah, for vacation.
So Chase has been locked in. Then we're going to be here regularly. We break down the card that happened on the previous Saturday, and then we look ahead to the following Saturday. Well, we're at the point in the evening where we usually look ahead, but guess what? We got the week off. We don't have anything.
Yep.
So we're going to touch a little bit on the Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano card. But before that, Chase, what'd you have for dinner?
Ooh, today, what did I have? Oh, I made steak actually yesterday. So I ended up having leftovers because I made 4 steaks. So me and my wife, we ended up having some nice steak, and then she actually cooked some this like vegan pasta, like Alfredo style dish with it. It was awesome, dude. So we had some steak and eggs, and then also a nice little pasta dish. So that was pretty good. What'd you end up having, bro?
I did a little homemade mac, a little bit of homemade beefy mac and cheese. Well, it was ground turkey is what I used. So I did a cheese roux, I guess you can say, with some white cheddar and some mild cheddar, and then just mix that all together. So
I'm proud of you, man. You're stepping up your cooking game. Every time I'm on here, I got some crazy dish, and then you're like, "Yeah, man, I had a peanut butter and jelly, bro." And I'm like, "What are we doing?"
I was like, you know what? I gotta come with some fire with my deals with my meal this week. So
hey, man,
round 3. That's what I like to do. What's that, Chase?
I said, hey, man, you got me beat on this one. I just had some steak.
Hey, the steak's probably better than that, though, man. But we like to talk a little bit of food, either at the end or in the middle. This is the called round 3 dinner, right? So I feel like we like to talk about some food. So we're gonna move on here, Chase. I need you to take the lead on this MVP card, just because it seems like with the setup I have, I do have a little bit of technical difficulties and some echoes whenever I switch tabs. So I'm going to go silent. We're only going to touch on Diaz and Perry and Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey, unless you want to talk about the other ones, because you do have some inside baseball. I know we're kind of up against it right now.
Nope.
So
I'm good. I'm good with not, just because I didn't watch it. All right. So I'll start from the top and work my way down basically while we're going into this. Obviously, we got Mike Perry on the card with Nate. We'll go over that one first. From this fight, this is one of the ones I did catch the whole thing. And just so you guys know, when I'm talking about these, I had to go back and watch these separately from the UFC card, because when I was watching the UFC card, I was asking people what's going on during it. So I had to go back to YouTube, and then I just watched them all separately. Instead of me going on my Netflix account and then watch the whole thing, whatever. I just watched them on YouTube. I caught him anyways. So from what I've seen, Mike Perry beat the mess out of Nate. Nate did not look like he wanted to be there at all. And from what I'm hearing from the rumor mill, before I get into the fight itself, the reason why they stopped the fight not only was that big knee and was a cut on the face, and
Let's hear it because I heard this too.
Snap! You already know where I'm going. All right, so basically, Nate was doing Nate things, kind of showing his back a lot. And he likes to do that lately because it just doesn't seem like he wants to be in there and fighting. Did in his boxing fight too, very awkwardly, right? And Mike Perry didn't look the greatest either, if I'm being honest. I think he did good, but like very sloppy, kind of throwing shots and running into him. I think he needs to stick to the bare knuckle boxing just because he just seems more comfortable with it. Whereas like MMA, he's kind of feeling uncomfortable. That's why he got thrown really bad with the Uchimata from the headlock. It wasn't the greatest, right? But he was still throwing big bombs, huge strikes, and then that knee in the middle ended up getting the finish there. But it just looked like a guy that wanted to be there and kind of finish compared to a guy that was just kind of collecting a paycheck off of his name. That being said, going to the second round after he was getting hit with some elbows, hit with some crosses, big knee at the middle that dropped him. And I think the bell rang or something.
Well, yeah, it was right at the bell. It was right at the bell.
Okay. And then doctors come in. They say they stop it. Well, I'm hearing from a bunch of different rumor mills and everything else, and MMA Guru and some other people, that the reason why they partially stopped it too is because he pooped himself in the second round. Is that possible? I don't know. When you like end up in a situation,
you get knocked out.
Yeah, you can't control things, and you're already like kind of punchy. Who knows? Is it true? I think we'll find out later on from other sources like security guards and everything else. But if that's the case, you're already cut up and everything else. Yeah, let's just call it a day and go home. I mean, even Nate said it. He's like, dude, I don't want to fight the most violent guy anymore. Maybe give me the second most violent guy. So that's what it looked like. It just looked like a guy who just didn't know what he signed up for. At least in my opinion, Ray. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. From the very beginning, and if you can go back and watch. It's actually a short video, Chase, too. So if you have time with your wife, please go watch. It's just I think it's the last live I did. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, kind of what happened in one of our first lives when my phone died. And that's exactly what happened last night. But I called the entire main event. I felt like I did a pretty okay job. And then I called this fight. I switched over right at the end of the main event. This fight was just starting, so it was perfect. Slipped right into this fight, and I did a little play-by-play. And I was like I am now. I just started busting out laughing at certain points in it because it was just so ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It looked so bad. I mean, those guys, like Mike Perry's not great. He's got power, and he's a scrapper, but my goodness. If that fight goes into the third round, who knows? Because he was starting to miss. He was starting to breathe really, really heavy.
Yeah, bro.
If you can, guys, go back and watch that one too. That was the first. That was the second one. Like I said, the last live stream I did, it's about 25 minutes long. So you can see just my take on all of that. But yeah, Mike Perry would beat the brakes off him. Like you said, landed all kinds of power shots, was slicing them up with elbows. Throwing elbows from crazy angles. I mean, the guy he's just an animal. And I even said on the live stream, I mean, Mike Perry was looking like the Incredible Hulk in there last night. I mean, he was just all muscled up, and it was funny. It was a spectacle. You know what I mean? That's really all it was. That's kind of how I feel about the event as a whole, and especially how I feel about. Looks like I might have lost it here. The main event. So go ahead, Chase. Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey. Okay. This fight lasted 17 seconds, Chase. I'm not giving you longer than 3 times the amount of this fight. Okay, so you got a minute. Go ahead.
Sick. Basically, like you said, inside leg kick, just like how she fought Ngannou. As soon as she threw the inside leg kick, Ronda immediately shot on the double. I think Ronda learned a lesson from all the memes and everything else with the fight with Amanda Nunes and obviously Holly Holm. No matter what happened in this fight, I think that she was going to take it to the ground. Did I think it was going to be a double leg? No, actually. So that was good. That was good situational awareness from her. I thought she was going to tie up with her thrower, and then we'd see like a slow burn to the armbar. But great job hitting that double leg. As soon as she hit the double leg, immediately to the armbar. Gina being out of the fight game for 10 years or something like that, and then obviously Ronda, not wanting to really do it. You could tell they were just both collecting a paycheck. I think on a fight itself, there's nothing really to say. It was just two people that fought before that are girls that used to be like the legends of MMA fighting each other. It's no different from we've seen Gracie versus Shamrock, right? Let sleeping dogs lie. We don't need to do this anymore. Ronda doesn't need to fight anymore. Let her go have her babies with Travis Brown and doing their own thing. Like, it is what it is. You got your spectacle out of it. Cool. Good job for Ronda. That's basically all I got on it. There's not much to say.
I'm with you, man. And I'm hearing people, some of these guys out here talking about Holly Holm, Ronda 2.
Why?
Miesha Tate, Ronda 3. Well, what are we doing? No. I'm with you, man. I mean, these women are well past it. They have families. They don't want to do this no more. I mean, I was really confused a few years back, and I'll just to switch gears for a second, and I'll get right back to it. I don't know if you remember, Chase, when Miesha Tate made her little comeback in the UFC. She had like 4 or 5 fights over the span of like 2 or 3 years, a handful of years ago. And she looked terrible. Yeah. She looked terrible. And she was saying like, oh, I'm trying to make a run to the belt and this and that. It didn't make any sense at all. I just don't understand. And now I think she wised up. I mean, that was like a flash in the pan. I don't think Miesha Tate's fighting anymore. She might be doing some grappling. But anyways, on to this fight. I said in my live stream the other day that I did, because I did a little deep dive, I guess you can call it, into just this card, because my very first live stream was talking about this card, right? So I just only felt necessary to loop back around and do it again. And yeah, I said that Ronda can get this fight done within 30 seconds. I said she can get it to the ground within 15 seconds and then finish it and have her arm with another 15 seconds after that. And you saw that's literally exactly what happened. But I said there's a world where Ronda tries to prove a point, stay on the feet, and then starts gassing and start getting picked off, by the bigger woman. She didn't play that game, like you said. I mean, I felt like I was in Hooters back in the day with my homeboys watching this fight, and watching Ronda Rousey, because that's literally the last time watching Ronda Rousey. That's what it was. I was, I don't even know, 20 or so when the last time I watched Ronda fight. So it was really cool. Just really cool. It was a cool spectacle. You kind of got, during the build-up, the Gina Carano was just happy to be there again. Yeah. She was very, very just appreciative and just thank you, and I appreciate everyone. I love this so much, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you knew it wasn't going to be much of a fight regardless. Even if it did go rounds, I feel like it was just going to be some pitter-patter. But Ronda didn't play around with that. She's like, okay, let's just get our money and get out of here. So that's it, Chase. We're not going to keep harping on that. Okay. I know you have some feelings that I'm going to pull up on the screen here in a second. And like I said, I am switching over tabs. So once I switch, you go ahead and start running, brother, because I can just tell by your tone you weren't happy about this.
All right, so here we go. All right, oof, here we go. I'm already speechless. Yep. So when we first heard about this, the big thing I want to talk to y'all about, because I think that the way they announce it is funny, and that's making more headlines than anything else. Why would you do it during Ngannou's walkout? I don't care if you're trying to slide on him and make it like, oh, we got one over on him. Number one, all it does is make you look petty. It makes you look like a jealous girlfriend. That's stupid. Like, I just don't get that, okay? Number two, what happened to all the cool hype promos we used to do for the UFC? Like, now we're just an old man behind the phone like I am right now. All right, guys, here's the next fight. Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. And then you got freaking Hunter Campbell or whatever his name is over on the side. He's just like, yeah, say it again, Dana. Tell him this. As he's like kicking him in the foot, trying to tell him, yeah, daddy, tell him this. It's stupid, bro. I remember the hype stuff we used to have back in the day where it was like Conor McGregor and Aldo, and they're walking down the street trying to kill each other, basically. That was so hype, bro. And now all of a sudden it's like Uncle Dana behind the screen of his phone is like, all right, guys, we got the next fight. And it's always like this delayed freaking pause, like he's on like a comedy sketch or something. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then to mention this fight, all right, cool. It's Conor versus Max. Max is competing all the time. Conor's like 200 pounds, and then he's like not 200 pounds, and he's 170, he's 180, that. We'll see what happens, right? The biggest problem I have with this card, it's not even the fight. Let the fight happen. It's cool. It feels like they just threw every name in the dish, in the pan. Like, I think some of these fights are cool, but, like, I don't think it needs to even be on this card, though. Like, you got Benoit Saint-Denis, Paddy Pimblett. All right, cool. All right? You got Sandhagen, Batista. All right, that's cool, I guess. Gabe Stevenson versus Ellison or whatever his name is. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know who that is either. Alicia Ellison.
Yeah, and then you got Royval and Kavanaugh, which they're trying to build Kavanaugh, so that one kind of makes sense, even though Royval is really good.
Wow, I did not know that fight was in this card.
Yeah, I had to look this up later because I thought they were only announcing some of them. You got Whitaker and you got Krylov, which is his debut at 205.
Light heavyweight. Yes.
So, like, Riley and Kamaka, I mean, that's cool. They're trying to build Riley still, which makes sense. Almeida, okay. Some of the fights are decent, but it just feels like they were trying to throw every name in the book at it so they can build this card more. And it's like, I just don't see why, man. It could have been such a better card if they didn't feel like it was like, let's get every name we have at this. It's like they're throwing Cody Durden on the opening card.
This is kind of a stay. You're right. Yeah, they tried to. Yeah, pump Conor up. Conor can't carry it alone. Is this a numbered event? Yeah, so you got a numbered event, so essentially a pay-per-view, right?
Right.
With no belt at the top. So they had to do something.
It just doesn't make sense, bro. I mean, that's what I'm just disappointed in. It just feels like the UFC is just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks. And I'm just disappointed in the way they are lately. Like, I think it's a cool fight, yeah, but it's like also this doesn't need to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This is my opinion on it. Or at least they should have more backup. Like, a lot of these fights don't carry a lot of weight. I think Kavanaugh is really the fight that carries the most weight, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, no, the Kavanaugh and Brandon Royval, that's a crazy fight.
The rest of them don't matter. Like, if any of them win or lose, it doesn't matter. Like, that's where, like, you're not getting me invested in these fights at all because it doesn't matter. Like, if any of these guys win or lose, maybe Whitaker at 205, if he wins, then it does something. But, like, the rest of them, it doesn't matter. None of them matter.
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't have a plan B, right?
Yeah.
Because when I look at this fight, it doesn't make sense that it's Max.
Yeah.
To me, because Max just came off a loss. So why are you taking someone? And so did Conor. Like, I get it. Conor doesn't deserve to come back to fight for a belt. But I think he would have, and it would have been the BMF. I think that's what the UFC wanted. I think they wanted Max to have the BMF belt and to fight Conor here.
Yeah, I can believe that.
They're scared if they put Oliveira against Conor, he's going to sub him or just lay on him for 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what they want. You guys can say everything you want. A couple of folks in my video that blew up a few weeks ago, my reaction video, just a nerd who doesn't know anything about MMA and saying all these things in my comment section and acting like there's not narrative. There's plenty of narrative when it comes to matchups and what the UFC tries to do and who they want to win, who they want to push. Things aren't fixed. I'm not saying that, but trust me, the UFC wants certain things to happen. I mean, period, point blank.
Yeah.
So, they wanted Conor to fight for the BMF belt, but they did not want Conor to fight Charles Oliveira in any shape or form, period. So The main thing I feel about this fight, man, and then we can get out of here after this because it is already just after 8:30. Poor Michael Chandler. Sitting at the White House, Mauricio Rufy, you know, and it's like, man, if I was him, I would just be so pissed. But it is what it is. That's how the dice fall. But that's it. None of this really makes sense. Maybe it will the closer we get to it. But guys, that's it. There is the recap of UFC 117. A little bit of a touch on the MVP Netflix card, and then just kind of how we feel about what is this UFC 329, Chase? Is that what it is?
Yep. Yeah, 329.
And how we're feeling about Return of the Mac. So I will do a little piece on this in the upcoming week because I know Chase don't want to talk about this no more. So, excuse me. So I will, I'll talk about that later on this week. I will also do a deep dive into my favorite fighter of all time. Won't let you know who that is. You'll just figure it out when it comes. My top 5 fights this year I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get you guys the Song Yadong. I believe, is it Davison Figueiredo? Is that who he's fighting next, Chase? Just the next card, if you don't mind helping me out on that. While Chase is looking that up, just thank everybody. I just want to thank everybody. I know Chase feels the same exact way. You know, we're just a couple of goofballs. We met, goodness, over 15 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So just getting this going has been a super awesome, special thing. This card, I do want to touch on one more time, actually. Thought I told you I'd bring my birthday up. My birthday is July 12th, and this card is July 11th, right? So happy birthday to me for Return of the Mac. I do love some Max Holloway, so it's going to be fun to break that fight down, I should say.
It's our for my birthday week. Thank you. It's our birthday week.
Oh, yeah.
7/7.
When's your birthday?
7/7.
What is it?
July 7th.
Okay. I completely forgot about that, buddy.
Oh.
All right. Let me see here. Chase, do you got anything else for the people?
No, nothing. And it is Song Yadong and Figueiredo.
Song Yadong, Figueiredo, not this upcoming Saturday, but the following Saturday. Got the week off. It's going to help me get a week ahead, start getting these prediction videos to you earlier in the week. That is the goal, okay? I'm Ray Fields, your host. Down below, if you didn't know, that is Chase Militia Keebler. Chase, we'll still do a round 3 dinner next week, even though there's no fight. If you want to get on here and we'll figure it out. So we will see you guys next week. Until then, take care of yourself. Next time in round 3, everybody.